My name is Mila Patawa, and this is my reflection video on my ICT integration into classrooms, specifically for my grade 3 class that is learning English home language. And I'm doing this video, or my reflection video, for my module of computer integration into the classroom. The topic for the lesson that I have chosen is reading comprehension, and I've added a little theme with it, which is a day at the Kruger National Park. The lesson is designed to help my students improve their reading comprehension while using technology to make the lesson just a little bit more interesting, interactive, engaging, and fun. The topic I have chosen for my lesson is reading comprehension, and I've given it just a little bit of a theme called A Day at the Kruger National Park. The lesson had 3 main learning objectives, which are taken from Bloom's taxonomy. The first being to identify important information in the passage that we have read together. The second is that they need to answer comprehension questions using evidence from the text that we had read together. Thirdly, they need to create a digital response to demonstrate that they understand the content of the work or the content of the story. The lesson was divided into 3 phases, namely the introductory phase, the development phase, as well as the consolidation phase. In the introductory phase, I had the kids watch a YouTube video of the Kruger National Park, showing all the different animals that are there. We also used the PowerPoint slide in which we illustrated these different animals that they saw, including the different people who work and who operate in the Kruger National Park, and added a list of new vocabulary that describes the people as well as the animals. The purpose of the activity was to activate the children's prior knowledge, as well as to explore new vocabulary words that the children will encounter in the reading passage. The learners watched a video, observed pictures, and also participated in a small classroom discussion in which they predicted what the story would be about. I believe this activity was successful because it captured the attention of the learners, it encouraged them to participate in the class discussion that we'd had, and it also prepared them for the reading activity we were about to do. Using the videos and the pictures really helped to support the learners who learn visually. It also helped to make the kids familiar, if they were unfamiliar, with some of the vocabulary words through seeing what they actually are. Phase 2, which is the development phase, is where the learners and myself, their teacher, read the reading comprehension passage together. We then answered or spoke about some of the unfamiliar words that we found in the text, as well as answering comprehension questions about the story itself. Learners then completed an interactive comprehension quiz, which they did online through WordWall. This quiz enabled them to get immediate feedback about the mistakes they have done in the text or in the quiz, allowing them to correct their mistakes and to see where they understand and where they do not. I believe the activity was successful because it encouraged the children to think critically and to also use evidence from the text that they had just read to answer questions. It also promoted the skill of collaboration through the discussions that were had, and it increased learner motivation to participate in the class through the activity that was had because it was interactive and enjoyable. We then moved on to phase 3. This phase is called the consolidation phase. During this phase, the children then created, using Canva, a digital page called My Favorite Character, right? On this page, they created a digital image, put in descriptive words, as well as wrote 2 full sentences describing why this was their favorite character and their favorite characteristics. Learners then emailed that work to me, the teacher. I displayed it huge on the projector whilst they presented to their classmates their beautiful work that they had created themselves. I believe this activity was a success because it allowed learners to apply what they had learned whilst developing skills in them, developing creativity, their communication skills, as well as digital literacy. The ICT tools that I used were Microsoft PowerPoint, Canva, WordWall, as well as YouTube. Each tool was selected because it supported the lesson objectives as well as encouraged an active learner participation in it. Technology didn't just replace the old teaching methods, it enhanced the ability for the students to learn and to understand the work. Using the SAMR model, I would classify the PowerPoint, the YouTube video as augmentation. And this is because the technology enhanced lesson through using visuals and multimedia and animation to make it more interesting for the learners. The word wall comprehension quiz would fall under modification under the SAMR model. And this is because it transformed the traditional comprehension exercise into one that is more immediate, one that gives feedback, and one that allowed for children to interact with it in a more meaningful manner through a digital activity. The Canva activity would then represent the R in the SAMR model, which is redefinition, because it allowed for the children to create and to prepare and present a digital product, which they would not have been able to do if we had used the traditional methods of pen and paper. This allowed the children to express their creativity through creating art and using words and using descriptive words and presenting all of this work to their fellow students. Throughout this process, my role was just to facilitate the lesson, to facilitate discussions, to guide children when they needed help or assistance, to give constructive and immediate feedback, and to also encourage children to participate in the class discussions that were being had. The learner's role in this activity was to actively participate in watching, listening, reading, answering of questions, and creating their own digital responses. The lesson was learner-centered and encouraged collaboration, communication, and independent and critical thinking. I believe that overall the lesson achieved its objectives. The learners were a lot more engaged and participated more into the lesson. And the use of those ICT tools encouraged and created an environment in which they could be more active and participatory. If I were to do this lesson again, I would perhaps include more opportunities for the children to work together in groups or in pairs, perhaps with the Canva activity that they were doing, because this would create more opportunities for them to explore collaboration as well as peer learning.